Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. So time has a funny way of really making us question things, of why certain things happen, how we get there, why price adjustments, repricing of certain things. And due to enough requests of you all and the patrons asking me, today it's just modern. Magic the Gathering modern. Some people and some patrons and some of you all just straight up saying, Rudy, I don't understand how a garbage set like Commander Masters is sitting at all-time highs since release date. So Commander Master set boxes are pushing $400, probably about $410 with tax and shipping. Draft boxes are pushing $300, maybe a little more with tax and shipping. And collector boxes, again as of the film of this video, all being quoted from TCG Player, are about $205 plus tax and shipping, maybe $215, $220. And the question is why? How did a product which we all ridiculed, including myself, I didn't even carry the draft or set. I only sold collector boxes to patrons because I was just like $3-4 draft or $3 and $4 set boxes. Well, I thought the downward cutting of the knife and the risk reward, and I was afraid of selling that product and just collapsed to 200, which it did. So I waited. As of right now, I have maybe 2 or 3 cases of Commander Master set for a future box opening. I did keep a position in the collectors for myself, and that's it. No draft, pretty much almost no set. My opinion of what's going on in this scenario, everybody. I think this is a textbook example of the single cards bouncing so high off their lows from 6 months ago. It's making many buyers say, you know what, for the prices of some of the singles, I'm going to buy the sealed boxes. Because at the lows, we had like Commander Masters draft boxes at like 230s. And, even then, everybody was negative. Every high-end social media website with all the professional investors and collectors and players were saying, I'm not going to buy draft Commander Masters unless it goes to maybe $150, maybe $99 for collector boxes. It's going to happen. This is ridiculous. That was the chatter of the internet if you chose to follow all of the opinions online in the bear market of last year. I believe what happened is Commander Masters was so overpriced and then sprinkled on in the middle of that 2-year, one of the worst bear markets I've ever seen in Magic history. And it created a negative stigma, including Rudy being a negative and Debbie Downer, and me and negative, I was negative Nancy. I took her to Chick-fil-A, and even I was, I don't have any draft and set. And looking back, obviously it's easy now. It's like Pokemon and Sword and Shield, and looking back at all the collector. It's easy now to make videos saying, oh, we should have done this. But I asked myself, why did I get that wrong? Why was I so wrong? Why did I not buy any draft boxes even the little bit of set boxes I got was just because of a clearance thing from like another store who needed capital, who just dumped it to me at a cheaper price. So I sold Commander Master set boxes to the patrons. I ran a small sale, and even then, 6 months ago when I ran the small Commander Master set sale, I think it was like 94% of the patrons didn't even buy it. They didn't want anything to do with it. And I was selling Commander Master set boxes for $259, $269 shipped, depending if you wanted a case or a half case. And even then, the demand, and even the little one pallet I had, I couldn't even sell it all. And obviously now, a case, if you had bought for $259, which I wasn't even selling at the low, the cheapest was probably $239 for a few months. Even if you had bought from me at that, you'd be up almost $150 a box. So one case of Commander Master set from the low is up almost $1,000 from the low in 6 months. It's like a 35 to 45% swing, depending on the metric you want to follow and how high or low, but none of that matters. The question is, why? Right now, I'm not seeing a tremendous kind of liquidity demand. I don't see a lot of people just buying them like crazy. Like if you go on TCG Player and you hit, a Pokemon or the new Magic, Thunder Junction, DeLorean Western movie, the sell-through rate's pretty solid. I'm not going to lie. Even now, the play boxes, it's doing well, okay? Look at Pokemon, even the expensive stuff. It sells every day. The sell-through rate and liquidity is extraordinarily powerful and impressive. But looking at Commander Masters, the sell-through rate is still pretty weak. It's not really selling like crazy. You're not seeing 20, 30 cases of product moving daily on TCG Player. But what I did find was interesting is we are seeing 5, 10, 20 transactions sold in some of the hot single cards from the modern, or Commander Masters, the modern era product. So it feels like to me, the print run was lower than we thought. Because again, to recap, the consensus we all thought, including me, I fucked that one up, including me, I felt, just like you all did, we were in the same little paddle boat together. Like sometimes you guys were giving me the look, I looked over at you guys and I was like, should I give you a hug? A mouth hug? Just buy a dinner? Like we were in the same boat. Like even I was looking at you guys saying, dude, Commander Master set for 400? Ugh. Stores had to commit at $330 a box? Ugh. And then I was in the same boat. I didn't order it. Okay? And to kind of defend all of ours opinion, at the time, the risk was so high, the reward wasn't worth it. So looking back, you have to put yourself back in 2023 attitude. And to remind you all, a year ago, or almost a year ago, when this happened, we were still fresh off Magic 30. Everything was crashing. Every release was doing terrible. Collector boxes came out, tanked. If they came out and didn't tank, good old Cynthia and manager said, fuck it. Amazon dump them. They didn't tank? Let's tank it now. They would do anything they could to just raise revenue, get gross sales, and flush inventory. Because they were so, I can't say that. There were emails to Rudy self that I read on a Saturday morning of like, warehouse locations, maybe in the south part of the United in Texas, that had literally not like Wizards inventory of like 50 or 100 pallets. The Wizards inventory, the pallets were in the thousands. Now, granted, when I say that statement, you don't be dramatic, take it out of context. Most of those pallets were not booster boxes, collector boxes. Most pallets are supplemental products, more bigger box, annoying things. So you have to, it's like Pokemon. An entire pallet of ETBs is like, was it 110? Or what was it? It's 120? Like I said, the amount of cases of like a Pokemon ETB pallet versus the amount of, booster boxes on a pallet. So you have to understand the quantity and the metric to have a good, context of the situation. But I look back at this and so, at the time that I made that decision. And I was wrong. Just like you all that didn't want to buy it, even when it crashed, didn't want to buy it. Looking back from a strictly non-emotional standpoint, okay, and not going by how we feel, not going by the anger towards Mark Middlewater, Cynthia Philip Morris Williams, Dr. Cox trying to brag about the cocktail parties and all the beautiful ladies of the night. None of that stuff matters. In the mindset we all had, what we cared about was the damage from Magic 30, the overprinting, and the Amazon dumps. That's what led to the biggest shakeup in modern Magic history. And of course, Commander Masters came out, and they, to try to get more revenue and stem the downward spiral of problems with Hasbro's company and WotC and inventory, they raised the prices so much. Like, if Commander Masters, the draft boxes, were the same master box prices, which was like $144 for wholesale, as Iconic Masters, like if Modern Masters 2015, I was there, okay, and Modern Masters 2015, the master boxes were $144 wholesale. Stores, people like me, we sold them for like $199 kind of thing. It was great. We made good money, and everybody was happy. Tremendous value. It wasn't outrageous, but when you have something like instead of $144 being the wholesale store cost, and you have a Commander Masters draft box that's now selling for, I don't remember what it was, 240s, 30s? I don't remember what it is. Or maybe it's not that much. 200? I don't remember. And, but I know Commander Master Set, we all talked about that. When that thing was 330 at a store cost. Just for a store to get a box, 330. So for a store to even sell it, it has to be pretty much 400 to 500 range. And I knew there's no way the market was going to accept a $400 to $500 price point at the release of Commander Masters. There was no way the market would accept that on a Mark bottom water post Magic 30, never going to reprint collector's edition, and then doing it anyways. And then, of course, Cynthia and the whole Amazon dump. There was no way the market would be on board accepting the all-time high price increase on a master set that the market was disappointed in. No serialized cards. A lot of people didn't like the portrait style artwork of the chase cards, and a lot of the reprints weren't there that people wanted. That was just simply what happened. Now, based on that, we skipped it. The only thing I carried was collector boxes, and we dropped everything else. And it was the first time I've ever done that. In the entire 9 years I've been on YouTube, I've carried and been involved with every master set since the creation in 2013, which is the original Modern Masters. I've carried, ordered, handled, invested, sold, kept, whatever you're wording. I've been a part of every single one. And that was the first time I only carried just the smallest single chunk of the product line. And every other time, even Modern Horizons 1, 2, and Modern Horizons 3 coming up. We're like 30 days out, or 40 days out, from like Modern Horizons 3. And I don't give a shit what anyone says. Dude, this is going to be a big deal. The next 45 days, we got the Pokemon release, we got Flesh and Blood Mistville with this anime craziness coming up. Can't wait to show you guys a spoiler video. And we've got Modern Horizons 3. The next 45 days, these products, these three things are going to dominate the marketplace. Okay? Period. And I think all three of them are going to be incredibly successful. My prediction is the Pokemon set's going to come out. It's going to be like $100 a box. Everyone's going to say, overprinted, Pokemon's dead, it's all useless. Then that's going to happen. And then, of course, the Flesh and Blood's going to be a really hot thing when people see these Marvels and the anime cards. I don't know if spoilers, I think it's out. And then, of course, with Modern Horizons 3, everyone's going to be unhappy with it because how expensive it is. And then box openings are going to start, and people are going to realize, wait a second. I open a Modern Horizons 3 collector box. That's 12 packs. And every 12 packs has 6 to 9 fetch lands based on the email that Rudy watched of somebody opening a video a month ago that was sent to himself that I'm making up on the spot. It's going to be successful. People are going to complain about the price because Hasbro and Wizards are just insane on their pricing. But it's going to be unbelievably successful. And another piece of advice to you all on this, I don't want to shift too much from Modern Horizon in this video. Friendly reminder. Again, based on Rudy sending an email to myself while I was going poop this morning, I'm going to tell you all the supply of collector boxes for Modern Horizons 3 while I was in the bathroom talking to myself is going to be nasty. So we are going, it's going to be within, how do I say this legally? It's going to be within 20% of the same numbers as Fallout collectors. The only difference is we've got fetch lands, and in a bunch of stores who are doing pre-orders months in advance, they're just going to screw up again because they're stupid. So back to the Commander Master situation. I don't think speculation and evil investors are driving this market anymore. I feel like for the first time in the 9 years I've been on YouTube, I can confidently tell you all the reason we're seeing upticks in a lot of the stuff is actually being driven by players and collectors with these new cards. We are seeing strength across the board in new Magic, and we continue to see weakness in Rudy's favorite Magic era, Vintage. The old Magic world and everything continues to be very weak and have no bull market and no excitement in it. It just continues to be a tough thing. And I don't think that's going to change, and I do believe what we're seeing now is Commander Masters continuing to reprice higher because the single cards are moving. People don't have a lot of single cards, and people simply just want to be a part of that. People want to get that chunk and do that kind of thing. And I don't think we've seen the top. See, in the past, everybody, we've seen all these upticks and we've seen all these things happen. Okay? But they were usually led by big money investors and different kind of bullish sentiments and capital flowing from rich people and people who are trying to pump and dump or manipulate or to really try to, I don't know, do damage to the market. But this time around, I don't see that. The liquidity on the market and the sell-through rate of the boxes is just not showing that kind of data. And that's not something I can say we've seen before, you know? And because of that, this particular market repricing and upswing, I actually believe is one of the strongest, most organic, which is why I'm so, Rudy the shill. I just haven't seen it like this before. And to see the strength across the board, and yet without investors and interest rates are high. There are no big investors out there besides dumbass Rudy's, which pretty much me, myself, and I. No one else out there is dumping all their life savings into new Magic sealed product. No one's doing that. I'm the only idiot that's still, let's see the course, right? Get punched in the face. I wake up, where's Chuck Norris? I'm the only one probably dumb enough doing that. Okay? Now, thankfully for me, it's paid off because I hit major home runs with the Eldraines, the Ixalans, the Ravnicas. I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, unlike previous markets, this is really, really bullish. The opportunity in this is just tremendous, and I don't think we all realize how big of a deal it is. So to leave you on the final statement, the Commander Masters upticks is a real thing. It's not being manipulated. It feels more organic than any other upticks I've seen on previous buyouts and upticks. The single cards are having more demand than the sealed product, which is actually even more bullish for sealed product. The market was wrong. Rudy was wrong. There was no Amazon dumps of Commander Masters. There was no overprinting collapse. There was no, oh look, no one's going to buy Commander Masters. You know it's going to be on the holiday dumps. The market was wrong. I was wrong. Most of us were wrong. And now, just similar to the Pokemon Sword and Shield era, we continue to see people just trying to play catch up on a lot of these products as they continue to move up. And what a time to be a part of it. Hope you guys learned something. It's definitely been fascinating.